So in the last session, we discussed topics up to variables, types of variables, instance variables, static variables, and class level variables, right? So today we are going to discuss the topic about instance methods, okay, types of methods that are supporting in Python. So first one is instance method, second one is static method, third one is class methods. So coming to instance method, we already written a logic in the previous program. So we are going to discuss more about instance method. Okay.
First instant method.
Okay. So instance methods. So inside instance method is nothing but in the line number 10 from this example, display student information. This is nothing but a instance method. So there are few points we are having related to instance methods. That the first point is inside method implementation. If we are using instance variable, then such type of methods are called instance methods. So you can observe there is an instance variable we are addressing here. In the line number 11, self dot address equal to Hyderabad. That is nothing but a instance variable, right? So inside a method implementation, if you are using instance variable, then such type methods are called instance methods. This is the first point. Another point, inside instance method declaration, we have to pass self variable. We can observe in the line number 10, we are passing here self variable. If you don't have a self variable, the method cannot be considered as a instance method. So third point, by using self variable inside method, we can be able to access the instance variables. Simple. In the line number 13 and 14 and 15, you can observe there is a self variable we are using, self dot name. So from where name is coming from this constructor. So we are accessing by using self variable inside a method, we can be able to access the instance variables. So these are the three instance variables. We are able to access it by using self dot name, self dot age, self dot marks from this instance method. So the last point is within a class, we can call instance method by using self variable, and from outside of a class, we can call by using object reference. See, by using self variable within the class. Say this is all comes under within the class. So within the class, you can use the instance method by using self variable. You can call the instance methods by using self variables outside of a class. This is outside of a class. So here we can observe by using object reference. So what is the object reference here? Line number 17. So S1 is equal to student of instance variables. So student is a class name, and we are passing the instance variables from outside of a class at the time of object declaration. Hari 2580. These are all the instance variable. Hari is nothing but a name. Age is 25. Marks are 80. So S1 is what? S1 is object reference, right? We are creating a reference variable for this class by using S1. Now I am going to call the instance method with object reference. What is the object reference here? S1 dot display student info is a method. I am an instance method I am calling. So directly, what is the implementation in this method? Everything will be executed, and that is we are going to see in the console. So this is nothing but so you can observe we are able to see the Hyderabad, the address and the remaining information in the console. So this is what the usage of instance methods, right? So now we are going to write one logic, one program using instance method. So same program, it might be student information only, but I'm going to write in a different way. class student. I am creating one constructor. Within the constructor, I am going to declare the instance variables. Okay. So what are the variables? Self comma name comma marks. Self dot. What is self here? Self is a predefined default variable in object oriented programming, like this keyword in Java. So self dot name equal to name. Self dot marks equal to marks. So constructor declaration is done. Now I am going to create a instance method. So in this instance method, I am going to create instance method same like as display self dot name. This is uh, fulfilling the second point. Inside instance method declaration, we have to pass a self variable like in the line number 6, you can observe this is nothing but passing the self variable. And third point, by using self variable inside method, we can able to access the instance variable. How can you are able to access the instance variable? By using this approach, right? So these are the points that were covered in the theory. So now I'm going to write another print statement, print of marks of student, comma, self dot marks, self dot marks. So one instance method is completed. Right here, this is going to be display the student information. Next, I am writing another instance method, f grade. Grade is nothing but first grade or second grade based on the marks. We are going to divide it. So here I am going to write a if condition. If self dot marks, if self dot marks are greater than or equal to 60, self dot marks are greater than or equal to 60. I'm writing a print statement. So this is the print I'm writing. If I'm writing else, if self dot marks greater than or equal to 50. Right? Another print statement. Second grade. And third elif. Here another self dot marks of greater than or equal to 35. Print statement of third grade. Now I am writing a else. See, elif is nothing but else. It's a kind of switch multiple. If you are writing multiple ellipse under a if condition, that should be fulfilling the switch statement in Java, right? So here multiple ellipse means multiple conditions. So if the student marks are greater than 60, you are going to be it is going to be print this. If it is less than 50, less than 35, like that. So finally we are having a else block. In this else block, we are expecting if we are enter the marks other than above the three ranges, another mark something called 20, 10, 0. So else block will be executed. Failed something, right? Based on our requirement. So now n is equal to int n is equal to int of input of input of enter number of students. Based on the input that we're providing from the keyboard dynamically, it will take the details. Okay, right? For I in range, for I in range of n. See here we are using range function of n. We are passing the n value to the range function. We are passing n value to the range function and name equal to input of enter name, name of student. Again, marks. Marks is equal to int of input of enter marks of student. Name and marks. After that, so I'm going to create a object for the student. Right? Now, S is equal to student. What is the class name? Student. You can observe here in the top, student. S is equal to student of name, comma, marks. See, these two are the instance variables that we declared in the constructor level. Name and marks. The same name and marks we passed as a instance variable at the time of object creation. Now, s dot display. What is the method, instance method we are having? S dot display. Based on the object reference, we are going to call the instance method. That is the last point that we discussed. Within a class, we can call the instance method by using a self variable, and from outside of the class, we can call by using the object reference. So here, this is called object reference, and s dot grade. Okay. And finally, we are going to use the print of something. So this print empty means it will print entire the method information. Now I'm going to run this example. It is asking the first input from the line number 19. So what is there in the line number 19? Int of input of enter number of students. Not student. Yes, we'll execute it again. Okay. Stop and rerun. Number of students. Now, how many number of students you want to get the information, marks and information about the student? Based on your requirement, you can provide the input. For example, let's say I'm taking, then immediately it will ask enter the name of the student. Something. Eva. Enter the marks of a student. 80. Okay. Again, it is asking what? Second time. Name of the student. 40. You can get that information from here. See. Hello, Hari. Marks of student is 40, third grade. So based on this, the execution will be done. I think this is coming from this. Oops, that's was. Yes. So like that, we are going to get the information about the students using this approach. Okay. So this is nothing but you can observe here. This is called a instance method. The example is here. We are passing a self variable inside the instance method, and we are initializing the instance variable with the help of self variable here. So, and this is also another instance method you can observe, self dot marks. So self dot marks, we are accessing a instance variables called marks here by using self keyword. So this is the way we can declare a instance methods in a object oriented class. Okay. So this is all about the instance methods. And the next topic is a static method. So as of now, we did we discussed about instance method. So the next topic is static method. Third one is a class method. Okay. Coming to static method, how can you declare a static method? So what is the use of static? So we already discussed. Sorry, before going to that, there is another concept called static method. Setters and getters are there. So you heard about setters and getters in Java. So nothing but this is another way to use the instance methods. Setter, getters. So setters and getters in Java, there we can use to set the instance variable and get the instance variable. In here also the same approach, set the instance variables, get. Set in the sense, for example, there is a web application. It's a kind of three-tier application. UI is there. UI is nothing but, see this in the browser, you can observe. So let's say example of Facebook or any web application, you are filling some information through registration form, right? So at that time, we can use this instance method to call the instance variables based on the constructor what we provided. This is one approach. So if we are having a big registration form, something called 10 to 20 fields there in the registration form, in that case, you are trying to access all the details that you are filled in the registration form into the database. So in this situation, you can use setters and getters. You can set the instance variables to other class. So and the database team will get the details from that class. So we can use instance methods or the setter getters approach also, two ways. So what is the use of the setters and getters? Setters and getters are nothing but you can set the variables and you can get the variables. It's a little bit slow. Leave it this. So set the variables and get the variables. So how we can set and get the instance variables by using setters and getters, I will show you. So setters and getters, we can call it as we can mutator methods and accessor methods. What is setter method? I will show you. Setter method. Here. What is setter method? Setter method is nothing but setter method can be used to set values to the instance variables. Okay, and setter methods also known as we are setting it by using the help of self keyword, right? And what is the actual value of this instance variable that we can pass from where? From the object creation level. So we are passing it. See, you can observe in this example, this here, name, age, and marks. These are all the instance variables we use to set through constructor with the help of self keyword. Okay, from where we are providing the actual values at the time of object creation. So we are providing to this constructor. So the value of this name variable should be substituted with the actual value, and age value should be substituted with the age value, and marks are also substituted with the actual marks. So this is the one way. It can be used to get values of the instance variables. Getter also known as accessor methods. So what is the use of getter methods here? We can get the values from the setter methods. So here we are doing setting and getting. In generic way, setting and getting is nothing but instead of set the values through the constructor in a normal programming approach, if you are choosing this kind of setters and getters mechanism, we can set and get the values from the setters and getters approach. So now the same example of student information, we are going to write a new class. So this is going to be help you to how we can use the setters and getters. So class student. Okay. So I'm going to write setter method, set name, self comma name. I have passed self comma name. Self is the default keyword, right? The Python, like this keyword in Java. So self comma name. Name is the actual variable, right? So return self dot name equal to self dot name equal to name. Okay, same like we did in the constructor. If you are using constructor here, self dot name equal to name. Same like we have to use self dot name equal to name. We have to initialize it. So after that, there is a getter method. Def get name of self return self dot name. Return self dot name. So this will return the value of the name, right? So setter and getter is completed for name variable. But previously we used constructor. That constructor is going to be initialized both name and marks in the same constructor level. But here we are creating a separate methods for all those variables. So next another setter method, set marks. Okay, set marks self dot marks equal to marks. Okay, I have to initialize it. Sorry, self comma marks. Def def get marks self and return self dot marks. Setters and getters are done for this. Setters and getters are done for the initialization purpose for these two variables. So we used approach called setters and getters approach instead of normal constructor approach. Now I'm going to enter the student information from the keyboard. Same method. Int of input of enter student number of students. Okay. So after that, I'm going to write a for loop. Same for I in range of n. Right? By using this for loop, we are going to iterate multiple student information for that purpose. So now I am going to create an object for the student. S is equal to student is equal to student. Now name is equal to input of enter name of student. Marks. Next marks is equal to int of input of enter student marks. Okay, these are the two input values that we are going to enter from the keyboard. Okay, so for this name, so we already use the setter and getters, right? So we have created an object for the s dot set name. You can pass like this the name s dot set name, and here we are going to set the name to this particular input. Okay, so s dot set marks. Okay, marks. So now you can write the print statement print of okay hello comma s dot get name. So another print of student marks are comma s dot get marks to print empty. See, here you can observe that we are not used any instance method. Okay, we are not used any constructor. We used setters and getters. See, these setters and getters are going to, what is the intention, what is the usage of these setters and getter methods? These can be set the values to the instance variable and get the values to the instance variables. So we are setting these values from where, anyway, we are giving from the keyboard, right? So once we enter the value from the keyboard, what will happen? The value will be set to the set method, okay, to this name variable. And once the name variable, then once the value of the name can be set here by using set method, if you are using in somewhere, so the same variable, instance variable, you are calling in some other instance method, any of the method, you want to utilize that value of the name, you can use the get method there and to get the values. That is the reason here you can observe s is equal to student. We have created an object. So name input of enter name of a student. Once we enter the name of the student, so the name will be set to here, and marks also same. If you enter the marks should be set to here and enter the set using set marks method. If you click on control click here, this will go to in this place and the marks value will be initialized here. And this print statement, now you can observe s dot get name. We are getting the name from where it's getter. So how the getter is going to get name, how the get name is going to get the actual value by using self dot name. See here we already initialized this self dot name. We are returning it. Returning in a sense, we already discussed in the functions concept. There is a return statement in the function. It is going to be return some value. So the same return statement we are using here to return the self dot name. So what is the value of the self dot name? Finally, whatever input we have provided, that should be the value. So same like as a student marks. So enter number of students 1. Enter name of the student something Hari, marks 50. Sorry, something called 50. Student marks are printed. Okay. So same logic we used here by using what? Instance variables and instance method. So here we used what? Using setters and getters. Okay. Why I have declared object class object here under the for loop? Because we are going to enter the values multiple times, right? If you provided 5 students as the input, so from the line number 14, so 5 times this loop will be executed. 5 until the 5 students who are enter the values, this loop is going to be rotating. That's the reason we have written the loop. Within the loop, we have created an object. Okay. This is what about the setters and getters. It's also very simple approach. We can use in multiple places. Whenever we are discussing about this project level, like a Selenium automation framework, I will show you how we are utilizing in the real-time project. So the next topic is called class methods. Okay. As of now, we discussed setters and getters. This is another flavor of instance method, class method. In the last, I will explain about static method. Okay. So remove this. Okay. Control X. Entire notes is there because it's very big notes. So that's what I haven't shared. I will share you today or tomorrow so that you can go through that. And class method. So inside a method, this is another type of method. See, in object oriented programming, okay, in Python, we are going to use different kind of methods and different kind of variables as per the user requirement. So when we are going to use for instance method and instance variables, when we are going to use for class methods, when we are going to use for static methods, slowly after end of this is first topic, I will tell you. But as of now, I think you will get a clarity about when we are going to use the instance variables at the time of object creation. For each and every object, instance variable will be vary, right? And instance method. So we can, if you declare the instance variable in any object oriented class in Python, you are going to utilize those instance variables by using a instance methods. So that is the reason we can create instance methods, and the instance methods are very useful to write a program for different objects. Say for example, here how many students you are having here? See, in this example, in the base example, three students are utilizing this class, a student class functionality, right? So n number of students if you are having. So even though if n number of students if you are having to access this particular class, what will happen? They can able to access it through the instance methods, because instance method is having a customized reusable logic we have written here. So if a student name got changed at the time of object creation, no issue, this will be executed and this will be printing helpful to reuse the method. So reusability, main reason is reusability, and most of the object oriented programming concepts will follow code reusability approaches like inheritance, all those things. Okay, so now the next concept is class methods. So what is class method here? So inside method implementation, if you are using only class variables, then such type of methods we should declare as a class method. So in real time, like an automation perspective, we won't use class methods. Very rare in such conditions we can use a class method. So don't think about like very deep here. I will explain the theory and as well as one program so that you can practice it. But just remember it, this is one kind of method in the development perspective. Most of the people are going to use the class methods. So inside a method implementation, if you are using only class variable, so then such type of methods are called class methods, and we can declare a class method explicitly by using @class method decorator. So how to declare a class method? Separately, there is a decorator is there available. Decorator means annotations in Java, @. So here @class method decorator. For class method, we should provide CLS variable at the time of declaration. So for especially class methods, we are going to provide CLS variables, not self variables, because it's not an instance method or instance variable. We are going to use separate variable called CLS that is useful while creating a class methods. So we can call class methods by using class name or object reference. So I will show you the example of class method. For example, there is a class animal. Okay. Something legs, animal having 4 legs, something. This is what a basic example. Now I'm going to create one class method here, class method, class method, and method name should be walk TLSC. I'm not provided any, just I used open and close braces, automatically CLS came into the picture, like a self in instance methods. CLS comma name of the animal. I have provided a one variable called name of the animal. So now I'm trying to print one print statement. Walks with while printing the content, customized content we can use like this. I'll show you. There is some topic is there. Printing in the different ways. If you want to print a customized way, the message you can use instead of the actual value. So you can use this open and close braces. So box with the legs. Dot format name comma TLS dot legs. TLS dot legs. Okay. Name comma CLS dot. This is the print customized format in the print statement. Dot format means this dot format is an inbuilt function. This will help you to print the content in your customized way. So here I am passing what animal name. Name is a variable which is available in the class method. Comma CLS is the another variable, default variable here CLS. cls dot lex. Lex is nothing but a default variable we have created in the class level, right? Lex, right? This is. So now I'm going to call this animal class animal dot walk is a method name, right? I'm going to pass the actual value of the animal, something called cat. Cat walks with. I'm going to put some space here. Cat walks with 4 legs. How that actual variable, see this name variable got substituted instead of this open and close braces, the help of this format method. So the actual value got substituted, walks with again the length of the legs. How many legs? 4 legs. So that the value will be substituted in this braces. So same like as can provide n number of we can create n number of objects, right? So again walk of dog something. So you can see output. This is nothing but object creation for a class methods. So but we already discussed how to create an object in Python. This is the way. But for the class methods, this is the way we can create an object with the help of class name with the particular class method of by passing the actual class method values. Whatever values you have provided here, instead of name you are providing multiple variables something, right? So all those you can pass directly at the time of calling this method. It is nothing but class name. Okay, sorry, class method. So the next method is called static method. So it's very simple and we may not use in the real time. Very rare we can use this class methods. Just but the declaration of the class method you should declare like this, and the methods also you have to declare CLS variable. We have to provide automatically CLS variable will come. So why? Because same how the self variable is a default variable for the constructors and instance methods. Same like as class methods, CLS is the default variable. Okay, so in which situation this class method will be useful? The situation should be like reusability of the same method in multiple places. So we don't need to declare it multiple methods. So we can declare a single method and this should be reusable at the class level. So this is the second way. This is the second method in the object oriented concept. So while declaring the to declare a methods. So I will show you in the framework. You can observe only 2 types of methods people are going to use. One is instance method. Another one is static method. I will show you. Okay. So third one is the static method. Okay. Third one is what? Static method. So what is the static method, sir? And that should be shared by the every objects. So reusability. Sometimes so we can observe in the real-time scenario, generic scenarios. So there is a university application is there. University something called JNTU University. Any other college university applications. They can based on by providing your hall ticket number or your university serial roll number. If you entered it, you will get what? ECE, for example, you are studying ECE or CSC third year, you will get only CSC class related student information page only. How? Once you entered your university roll number, how it should be printing and it should be showing in the console only CSC third year student catalog in the UI. Here the roll number is they declared as a static. So for that the roll number will be mapped with the only CSC third year students. So then it will be showing this particular catalog or table in your console, in our online application, in our university application. So sometimes, so because if you are enter your what is called your hall ticket, university roll number. So if you are not declared as a static, so it should be such in the internally. Okay, this roll number is assigned to which student? CS student, EC student, IT student, they don't know. So it will be such the code, the logic they declared internal in the backend developer. So if you are using such kind of declaration like instance variables, it should be hectic to such every class, right? How many classes, how many types of branches are there in a university, right? How many sections are there for each and every branch? So based on the colleges, we don't know, right? So it will search for the entire code if you declare as instance variables and there. So we don't need to do that kind of burden in the back end if you want to make it so reusability. So once we declare it, it should be reusable for other classes also. So like that, we can declare a specific variable called static or static class so that it always search for that particular branch student and particular branch information from the university site, and it will give you the information. Like that reusability. Once we declare it, that should be reused for all the students. Something like that. So that kind of usage that we're going to use in the static methods. So in general, these methods are called utility methods. That is the first point they're describing here in the theory also. Utilities. So in the generic way, what is the utility in our daily needs? Tell me, if you're a software job holder, laptop is your utility, right? Without laptop, you cannot do your work, right? Electricity is a utility in general way. Electricity is right. Without electricity, we cannot survive all these electric related element like lights, bulbs, and as well laptops also. We cannot work because electricity is required. So utility means reusability. The intention is, say, we are reusing the electricity on an everyday basis in the daily needs for all our automated process like cooking and cooking like things are our office purpose like laptops, mobile charging, everything. We are reusing our electricity. That is nothing but a utility. So you can observe here, there is a domain in the IT also, utility domain. People will call it as a utility domain. What are all the software like technology like the areas will come into the utility domain? Electricity domain, gas, natural resources are called utilities. So we are reusing it. Same here. Static method is called utility methods. So once we declare it, we can reuse it multiple times. Okay. Inside these methods, we won't have any instance and class variables. See, inside the class static method, we won't allow any predefined variables called CLS or self. Right? That is the reason they're clearly saying. Because if you declared a CLS, that is mapped only for the class level. If you declare a self variable, that is mapped for everyone who are using the same instance variable. So, but coming to static, if you're not providing any argument at the time of static method declaration, so that should not specific to mapped with some of the areas. That should specific for everyone. So we can declare a static method explicitly by using at the rate static method decorator, same like as a class method. So what is the decorators? There is a separate concept that I will explain you at the end of the oops concept. So, but before that, so just listen. At the rate decorator, what is called decorator is that we used here, right? At the rate, this is, we can call it as a decorators in Python. Okay, in Java, we can call it as a annotations, right? Same. So that is called static method declaration. We can access the static methods by using class name or object reference. We can access the static methods by using what? Class name. So this is what our class name, right? Or object reference. We know, right? Object reference s dot class name equal to some s is equal to class name, right? The s is a object reference. See, this is called object reference. S1 is called a object reference, or you can access through class name. Okay, that is the syntax of static method. So now you can observe there is a one static method. I'm going to simple static method. I'm going to explain to you how the static methods are useful. Mathematical expression, we are testing it. So no no class method, only static methods. Here you can see. See, we can use the constructor based method, constructor based classes in some requirements. We can use the static based methods in some requirement. We can use the class method based in some requirements. See, all we can, based on our requirement, we can customize our logic. That is the thing we need to learn. Even if you are using any programming language, Java, .NET, C Sharp, and Python, Ruby, any programming language, if you know to utilize the inbuilt features in a programming language, then you are good in programming. You don't need to worry about that. How these people are implemented static methods in which reason. This is the theory behind that. Okay. So now I'm going to create a static method. Rate static, see, automatically it will come at the rate static method. I'm going to create a method called add. Here I'm doing addition, subtraction, some kind of uh, calculations. So add means I'm going to pass two variables. Simple. There is no self, there is no class. Right? So now print of the sum. The sum is comma x plus y. This logic is done for this method. I'm creating another static method. Static def product of again x comma y. You can provide n number of variables with the same name, right? So int of product is comma x, sorry, comma x into y. This is all about product. Next, you can use a method called average. At the rate static method def average of x comma y. Int of sorry, the average of numbers, comma x plus y divided by 2. You can observe in this line number 13, just remember one concept is there, hidden concept. What is that? So we already discussed in the operators concept. There is a operator procedures, So which operator will consider first while executing a logic in operator preferences, right? So first it will consider x plus y. After that it will consider x by 2. So that is the reason I have created x plus y within a brackets. Operator preferences in Python. So right. So this is the way we have to create to prefer based on the operator preferences, the logic. So now you can observe here. I am going to create a object for this class, right? So math. So I'm calling by using class name. Static methods, how you can call by using class name. So what is the class name? Math dot add of values, right? Something. Now we can execute this. Only I am calling this add function. The sum. Okay. The whatever the second one we discussed in the theory. So we can access the static methods by using class name or object reference. So now I'm creating object reference called product. Something product equal to math test. Okay. Product dot not product. So the same name we have provided for the method. I'm giving like multiplication some name mul dot product. You can pass the values of x comma y, right? See, this is the first way you can access the static method. Okay, this is the second way you can access the static method. The product is also based on our values. So here you are calling using class name dot static method. Here you are calling using normal object creation with the object reference. MUL is a object, the object reference variable that we have provided and equal to class name, and MUL dot product we are calling this. So the third one again I am trying with math test dot average. So you can provide the input values something so that it will also print the average. Average is so and so. So this is the way you can use the static methods. I will show you one real-time example for the static method. Don't confuse as of now, but how we are using in the real time, I'll show you. See what I said, like utilities. Utilities means reusability. This is a automation framework along with the Selenium and PyTest. This project is designed by using Selenium, PyTest, Python. Okay. So here you can observe the folder structure. So this all folder structure we will explain whenever I am discussing about the automation. So this project I was created from the scratch, one of the freelance user, right? So from the scratch, like creating a normal folder project onwards, I started each and every line I have written in this project. I know end to end. I will explain you. So here you can observe there is a read properties.python or excel utils.python. See, all these are the utilities files. If you click on this read properties, you can observe at the rate static methods. At the rate, how many static methods I have created? So many as per the application requirement. So you can observe here static method. From the static method, I have declared this URL and username, password of the application under some configuration file. So you can observe this is a configuration file. Forget about this remaining stuff. Okay. See, these are the 4 parameters that I need to use in my automation. One is URL, another one is client code, employee number, and password to log in into a application. Common. These are the common things. Why I need to add in our logic every time? We have to put it in a one common place and we can utilize it. So I use the configuration file in Python, PyTest. There is a configuration file. We can call it as a INI. That's a different story. When we are discussing about PyTest, I will explain you. So in this configuration file, I added these parameters, and I am reading these parameters by using static method every automation test case. You can observe this is a test case. See, I am reading by creating the object. Simple. I am reading by creating the object. But see here, get application URL. From where this URL is coming? From this configuration file. See, this is the URL, which is coming from this configuration file. I am using a get method, setters and getters. Just remember it, setters and getters. Just now we discussed by using setters and getters combination along with the static methods. Sir, setters and getters are different and static methods are different. Yes, both are different, but we can combine them. That is the customization in the real time, right? So it is a getter method. See what this getter method is doing. This is getting the URL information from so and so configuration file. How we have written here a logic URL equal to config.get of common info base URL. Where is the common info parameter? Here you can observe this is a common info parameter. So common info dot base URL. Key value pair dictionary. This is a dictionary approach. Base URL equal to key and this is a value. Client code equal to easy key and this is the value. Employee number equal to key. This is the value. Password like this. So we are using all these Python concepts, right? So URL equal to config.get of common info comma base URL and returning. Here we are using return functionality, which we are using in the functions concept, return URL. This is returning the URL. So now I am calling this method. I am creating an object for this method by using class name and object. See, you can just now we discussed here somewhere in this class name. See, class name dot method name. Remember it, class name dot method name. We are calling the static methods. Same thing here. You can observe in this test case. This is a test case. Okay. So base URL equal to variable equal to class name dot method name. How we are able to access the static methods? By using class name dot method name or by creating the object reference. Here we are using class name dot method name. Class name is called what? Read config. See, where is this read config dot get application? See, you can observe. This is the class name. Read config. See here. Read config dot method name and base URL. See, finally, this base URL contains what? The actual value of the URL. This is the URL. So, how we utilize this? through different areas like setter getters we applied, and we used static methods, all those things. So finally, this base URL is containing actual URL. In the test case, you can observe I'm calling what self. This approach you can observe here. Just remember it, self comma setup. This is called instance method. This is a instance method. Here self dot driver. All these drivers we will discuss it. Don't worry. So you can observe self dot driver dot get. This is a Selenium method. Here you can observe here self dot base URL. See from where this base URL is value is coming. If you click on this base URL, this will go to this place. If you click on this particular get application URL, this will go to this utility method. If you click on this get method, it will go to this particular config. Where is this config.ini? Here you can observe we have created a config.ini. From where it is located? Under this config. So finally, the value is reading from this config.ini to read properties to test case. Under test case, we are created by using class name dot method name. All these are all the static methods. This is the example of static methods in the real time. Okay, so this is the way we can use the static methods. So we already discussed here, right? So this is the way we can use the static methods. So the next concept is inheritance concept. Sorry, garbage collection is there. After that, we will discuss the inheritance. So okay, so I will tell you garbage collectors and inheritance tomorrow. Okay, so please practice this first. Okay, up to this, I will share the video and as well as notes. Today, I will share the notes. Okay, so I'm having all the concepts that covered whatever I'm discussing in the notes here with the examples. Okay, please go through these notes and practice it up to static methods. So tomorrow, I will explain about garbage collection. We already know about garbage collection, right? Recycle bin in our system. That is one inbuilt program that provided by our operating system. Same like as each and every programming language, there is a inbuilt garbage collection program is developed by the respective programming languages. In Java also there is a garbage collector. In Python, .NET, C#, Ruby, Perl, every programming languages there is a garbage collector, because if you are creating an object, if you are not utilizing this object and variable, so who is going to responsible to delete those objects? Some program is required, right, internally. So that program was developed by the Python development team. So that program is called garbage collector. That is going to be delete the unreferenced, unused objects in our program sometimes. So that is called a garbage collector. How it will work internally, I will explain you tomorrow. Tomorrow we are having a class. Okay, please be available on the on time so that we can start the inheritance concepts. So we are having 5 types of inheritance Python in support. So I'm going to explain one by one. Okay. Yeah. Thank you all. Any doubts?